Hello everyone, how do? It's Kenny the Basic Brit back again with session 4 of the Western Lands campaign setting. Last we left off with the adventurers. They had the first foray into the Olde Islnad Fortress. Pretty successful, no casualties as of yet, and they came out with a prisoner slash new pet, Splug the Goblin. So it was quite interesting this session to see how they were going to get around town or on the outskirts of town with what is a monstrous creature. Goblins are not accepted in any society outside of, well, they're barely accepted within Goblin society as well, to be fair, in my campaign setting. So I just want to get straight into the video as quick as we can, straight into the recap. Before I do though, just want to quickly mention, head over to the Basic Brit Etsy shop, have a little look at some of the stuff in there. If you like anything, please consider buying something, share it with your friends, maybe they'll like it too. But without further ado, I've got my Yorkshire tea here. Grab yourself a drink and we'll get straight into it. So the group has escaped the dungeon and needs to head back to town for rest and resupply. On the road they agree it is best to split the party, with half doing a supply run into town and the other half staying in the woods nearby with Splug. By this session the party has all agreed that he is their new pet, in quotation marks, and there is a concerted effort from much of the party to civilise him. Well, we'll see how that goes. Leanna plays a marching tune on her lute to expedite the journey. Bards are an interesting class in BFRPG. They only require 1000 experience to level up if you keep them as a singular class, which means they promote through quite rapidly. They've got a laundry list of songs ranging from buffs to armour class for the group and debuffs to enemy fighting ability. It's an interesting choice and very much leaning in towards the support character. Leanna normally uses her +1 to the team's armour class and it's come in useful quite a few times already. This time though, she cuts about a third of the journey time off what they normally travel to and from the dungeon and in the wilderness with the marching tune. On arrival to a copse of woods just sitting outside of Morgansfort, Olde starts to set up camp and half the group prepare to bed down for the evening. Malik and Bluebell take the other half of the team into town. The magic user is intent on seeking out the local sage and the cleric is still interested on the whereabouts of Sir Brennan. In town, Malik is pointing towards the residence of the local magic user, a retired adventurer called Thelan Taramades. He is an ex-tomb raider and agrees to take on Malik as a sort of apprentice, for a price of course. This new mentorship came up organically in the game and has provided me a really good avenue to keep seeding adventure hooks through the conversations and growing relationship. Malik gives him the strange onyx spearhead they found as part of the treasure. It isn't magical but just an interesting bit of loot, and in exchange his new master teaches him the sleep spell over the next couple of days. Now Malik started with read languages, which, while a useful utility spell, means he was basically a torchbearer slash advice giver for the dungeon crawl sections. This now gives him some real combat utility within the party. Thelan urges Malik to strike out into the dark places and retrieve magical items and tomes for him to inspect, as his passion lies in the acquisition of the esoteric and strange. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the physical fortitude to do these expeditions himself anymore. The other part of the group does some shopping as preparation for the return to the dungeon, and Bluebell inquires about the location of Sir Brennan. Turns out he is still not back from recovering any of the caravan goods. She sees no real concern in this. There was a great wealth of stuff left behind, and burying all of the caravan merchants would take a long time, she surmises. Learning of the town's local herbalist, who has a chance of having healing potions and other potions in stock, they decide that that should be their top priority, along with some sort of disguise for Splug. The bulk of the gold returned to town is spent on 2 healing potions from the herbalist, and they head over to the trader to buy some clothes. A small cloak, a backpack about the sizes for a halfling, and some simple clothes for their new goblin friend. They decide loose-fitting and baggy with a good hood is the way to go here. Humans aren't used to seeing this many halflings around these parts. Maybe they can pass him off for long enough where he'll go unnoticed. Now, personally, I wasn't expecting Splug to become such a feature of the campaign, but he's here now, and a couple of the players have grown really attached to him, and the interactions between him and the group have been quite fun, so he's sticking around for now. Over the next 2 days, the half of the group in the woods spend time recovering, playing cards with Splug, which unfortunately he has a bit of trouble grasping. He tends to chew things when he's frustrated. Olan focuses on teaching him some rudimentary common. The group rely on Olan's experience of the wilderness to make sure that they don't dip into the rations, and he forages, retrieves some local game from the area. Rabbits, hares and berries mainly. For the last night, I rolled a random encounter and a black bear decided that the smells coming from the campfire were interesting. There was a back and forth as Olan's player was trying to figure out if he had the ability to befriend/calm the creature. He couldn't, though he didn't know that at the time, but he decided to try the old school method of appeasement by food. Now, the bear didn't have a substantially aggressive posture, and the friendly demeanour of the dwarven druid offering food appeased him pretty quickly. And after his feed and a little pat on the shoulder, it was on its way. Yep, I do read the comments. No more innocent animal deaths. Yeah, this was definitely a friendlier encounter than the first time the group met up with a black bear. The half in town had a considerably more comfortable stay. And over their time in the common room, Mirren the elf learns a rumour, the truth of which he takes with a pinch of salt. Some of the old farmers say that the dungeon below the fortress contains a tomb of a long-forgotten chieftain, and he was said to wield a magical blade. Can't always trust the tall stories of locals though. Any of the leftover treasure that they retrieved is used to purchase a donkey to help haul any future gains made from their escapades, and Malik specifically seeks out a porter and comes across a gruff and simple man called Hob. He is not sharp of mind, but looks strong of arm, an unquestioning sort, just the way the magic user likes him. He agrees to work for Malik for the standard price, and the party sets out to reorganise and head back to the dungeons beneath the Olde Islnad Fortress. As the group meets back up, introductions are quickly made for Hob. Olan quickly notices that they've now got a donkey in tow, and being a druid and having an affinity for animals, decides that he wants to befriend the animals straight away. An easy task for a druid. The kit for the next escapade is distributed amongst the party. Arrows and bolts go into the missile focused characters. Bluebell keeps hold of the healing potions for now, and the remaining gear is equally distributed amongst the rest of the team. They spend the rest of the morning packing up camp and setting up their gear good to go. Splug, now in his new threads, is very happy with what's happening. He's finally found himself a home. Hopefully he doesn't cock it up for the rest of the party if they ever venture into town. And guys, that was the session. It was definitely more of a information gathering, role-playing session than anything else. You'll see in later videos I do start to transition away from these shopping sessions, and we've started to do that over Discord now before we actually do any of the proper exploration or combat sessions. This one kind of just happened organically. I wasn't completely expecting a full session of the guys just in town, but There was some good role playing that came out of it, some good information gathering, especially Mirren's player was definitely intent on finding out a bit more about the Olde Islnad Fortress. Next session, they're going to be heading back to the dungeon straight away for more action. Please tune in for that one. It's going to be a good one. You're going to really, I think, enjoy this one. If you like the video, please drop me a like, give me a comment down below, tell me what I can improve on, and if you look in the description below, there's links to Drive for RPG for any of your old school gaming needs. Please consider clicking on that link, and the Etsy shop's down there as well also if you want to support the channel. Other than that, as usual guys, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, bye bye.